Hello, morning everyone. My name is Chen. I'm working at Monday.com. Somehow we started with, I think it's probably going to be the heaviest session of the day, but I hope you'll enjoy it. It was either going like as a presentation that I'm going to say AI too many times or not saying it at all. I went over like saying it too many times. So we'll talk about how do we shape a trustworthy AI. So yeah, I'm Chen. As I said, working in Monday.com. I'm leading our enterprise go-to-market from the development perspective, whatever enterprises needs from us, from the foundation and the platform capabilities around user, around authorization, threat security, compliance, everything that is there. How can we reach? I'm based here in London and working a lot with the go-to-market team. So like, how can we use our new AI capabilities or new AI offerings, to connect to those enterprises? And we find it a bit challenging. And we try to find out like, how can we do it? And this presentation is a lot about the process that I've worked through and what I've learned throughout this process. How can we make AI enterprise ready in a way? Before that, I was VP R&D in a small startup back then called BIAAS. Then they changed them to Exco, so I've been there for over 8 years. A bit about Monday.com for those who don't know us. We're building a platform. I think that's the easy way to say it. The idea is like, how can we help companies, small, big companies from like 2 people up to 100,000 or more, to use and optimize their processes, the work management and other processes within the company, and help them to both democratize the way that they're working or what we're trying to do, and use like our flexibility, flexible models or flexible architecture in order to adapt it inside the organization. And it's like being run by a lot of companies, just like this slide is, besides the logo, is just to share like, this is what we needed to go through. This is many more companies, many more like big logos that we had to go through and see what they need from us in order to adapt to those changes. And we all see those changes in the last year or so, or a few years, around data is no longer just like an internal thing. And again, throughout the presentation, I'll show some of the examples that we've had through, and I'll discuss them. But first, like around the AI, I want to start with a question. We're a relatively small forum, so please try and involve. And if you have any questions throughout it, feel free to jump in. I'd love to have some discussion throughout. Would you agree, like platforms that won't offer trustworthy AI will not see enterprise AI adoption? Who agrees with that? Great. So we had this discussion in a room, like with our leadership, because from one hand, definitely it makes sense. But from the other hand, I felt like a lot of the discussions that I had with enterprise, they felt like they don't have any other option besides using AI. From the simplest thing, their brand name. A brand that won't use AI won't be perceived as an innovative one, as a new one. If from like the efficiency metrics, everyone is using AI, everyone need to show. So how can we adapt it, and how can we change it? So definitely we did see like the needed for trustworthy, and this is what we try to do, and how do we add it throughout the product. And we've heard it like across the board, and this is from the AI Summit like last year. Trust is no longer accessory to that, it's the engine that drives adoption. Because trust comes from a few areas, and again, like we'll see it from how can I trust the results, how can I trust the data, how can I trust the residency of the data, the privacy. Everything is, those things are definitely the areas that those CISOs and legals and like IT managers are looking to see within new AI project, especially within internal organization tools. So how do we build? We track those, and I'll try to see it from many different angles throughout those presentations. The first one is like, we want to divide it into those pillars. First of all, they wanted to know that they are in control in their data. I think that what drives a lot of the IT people, or drives a lot of like those organizations, is the sense of control. They want to feel in control. They want to feel that they are empowered to do things. So AI needs to be operated under controls, limits, The humans still should be in the loop in order to create and definitely to be accountable to what's going on with the AI. Second one, the cost is controlled. This question that I'm getting every time. How can I make sure that I'm not going to pay you millions? And we try to say, like, hey, it's capped. Hey, you have limits. Hey, you can see it there. No one listens. How can I make sure that it's not cost millions? And like everyone trying to make sure that it's monitored, it's anticipated, it's easily managed. And the third one, which I think this is like the million-dollar question, or the billion in some of the cases, like the ROI. Is AI, do we see ROI? Do we see people that are using and getting the value out of it? And that's definitely what they want to see here. So how do we make sure that everyone is getting those three pillars, making those three? And we came up with like few internal guidelines to how do we build AI products. So again, like it's accountability and transparency are the main values that come throughout the products. And this is the three main use cases that we have in the platform. We have AI actions. The idea of AI actions is like a single action within. For example, I have a text, I want a sentiment analysis on it. This is kind of AI actions. Then we have the agents, and then we have solutions. Agent, I think everyone now is talking about agent. The idea is like not only how can we help and understanding the work and how can we do the work for you. In some areas, and definitely in some of like the new views, seems like agents is kind of the new UI for SaaS platform. A lot of their interaction is chat-based around the interactions, and actually I'll show a demo with one of our agents that we've done recently that help us to get some value using an agent, a value that we haven't thought that we can get around accessibility, which isn't like our main core of our platform. And the third one, I'll talk about it briefly, which is AI solutions. AI solution is how do we package capabilities that we have and add AI inside. So for example, if you're managing a project, if we can automate all the risk management, it can definitely help you. If you're using CRM, or we can like have some meaningful insights, those are the package that we call AI solutions. I won't talk about it a lot throughout the presentation because I don't feel like it's super generalized, but it's also like a use case that we're seeing and seeing others need to govern. I'll jump to the three principles that for us captured all the three use cases. And I feel if there is one thing that I want everyone to take from this presentation is those 6 principles, because they really, when we took them to the day-to-day, we found out that it's a good guideline for everyone around us, for everyone in the company, and good practice for the developers, for the analysts, for the product manager. How do we design a safe AI or responsible AI? And also, how do we feel comfortable with ourselves around the product that we're delivering? The first one is less privileged scope access. I think it goes without saying. Me as an admin want to see that the AI receives the minimum permission required. Why? Again, because I want to feel trust. I want to feel that I'm in control. I want to feel that I know what data can he access, what data can he manipulate. The second one, admin control, user oversight. 2 parts, super important for us. Admin can revoke every access of AI. All of our AI operations are being done via APIs. This is a decision that we've taken in order to have more, again, control, more understanding. We're not doing like a UI-based one. So if something isn't exposed with the API, our AI agent, as of now, can't do it. I know it's not like the popular opinion in some cases, but we felt that in order, again, to have this kind of like trust, to have this kind of control, it added us more control here. Again, like they can uninstall it every time. They can add human in the loop for some of the areas. It's really helpful with their AI change, and I'll show those guardrails soon. Clear distinction between human and AI. So everything that is being done by AI in our system is being tagged as done by AI on behalf of a human. So we are getting 2 things. First, it's clear that it was added by AI. Again, the why is the transparency, the why is the control, and by a human. Someone initiated it. Someone wanted us to create this version with AI. It gives a lot of responsibility to the humans that operates the AI, that installs it, that add it to the board or to any data surface. It helped them to get okay, I need to review that. It helped us a lot throughout the implementations and like through how do we see the adoption. And again, it prevents confusion. We saw a video recently of someone that tries to talk to AI agent, like a phone AI agent, a SDR one, and like he tries to end the call, and this AI agent like keeps continuing and asking until the person like hangs up the call. Just by saying like, and he asked him, "Are you AI agent?" And he never answered the simple question, "Are you AI agent?" And this is something that will definitely, if it will happen in one of our products, definitely. The first sentence that will, "Hello, I'm a ISDR based on X product," because we want you to know who you're interacting with. The fourth one is activity logging and visible reasoning. This is something that we've added quite recently. The activity logging is clear. Like we want to, again, be audited, be transparent. I think that goes without saying for a lot of the enterprises. But the visible reasoning, every change that AI adds, you also add like the reasoning why I've done it. Then easier to debug for us. If there are issues, easier to debug for the end user, easier to understand what we wanted to achieve here, what he wanted to do, and maybe if something goes wrong, he can fix it with a prompt. But definitely it can help everywhere that we have AI, we're adding reasoning. The cost around it is something that we still need to figure out, but it's definitely something that helps us to see more adoption and add value to the end user. Content integrity and reversibility, everything is reversible in our system. You can undo every operation. Why? Again, the same values that we have along the way around transparency, around sense of control. Everything is reversible. You have history. We have like version control and so on and so forth. And the third one is like more of a product pillar, which is the clear ROI of every level. And this is hard. This is the part that every time that we're getting and every AI block that we're adding, and we're asking ourselves, did we create the ROI? Not all the time we have the clear answer there. And this is something that, to be honest, like we're still struggling with. Because to show the ROI, what is the real KPI that this use case wanted to solve? Because I felt, again, it's my personal feeling, is that when we started with AI, it was still on like the see something cool era. Everyone is showing a new use case with AI. Everyone is looking, oh, wow, that's cool. Now we're moving from cool to business impact to business value. And this is the area that we need to add more and more controls and more ROI points to show the value. I'll drill down to each of those. Any questions before? No? Okay. So around the least privilege, I'll try to run through it. Because again, like I'll share the presentation later, and as I said, like I think it's probably like the hardest and most like verbal presentation of the day. Yes. Sir.
Quick question, just as you talked about AI governance, what do you see at Monday.com being the biggest concern for your clients?
I think first of all, I think the first one that they've always asked is like, are you training on our data? The answer is clear no, and it doesn't help, and then we will need to prove it. The second one is definitely the sense of control. What are the guardrails that you're adding? How can we make sure that you're not exposing our data, that we're not going to get data from other users or from other accounts? And this is exactly when we're telling them and we're showing them a roadmap and how do we take those principles inside. I think this one is somehow helped them to enforce some trust. And the fact that we're a platform and we had a lot of APIs before, and we just added some guardrails or like another layers above those APIs, I think it also helped them because those are APIs that they know, and we just like enhanced the capabilities around them. So least privilege, again, AI received the minimum. The example like a content assistant that adding only the marketing copy, and it can't access the financial document. So even if we have an agent, you can install multiple instances of this agent with a limited scope. So if I'm interacting, if I'm allowed only to the financial document, you can use the agent in order to access the marketing ones. Just like any other user or any other like permission system that you have in our system, in your system. Again, the metric that you're using is like to see the ratio of AI that using the least privilege that are over-promised actions. Why do we want to see from one hand that you're getting all the value of like this compound effect of being access to all of your data, but on the other hand, make sure that some of the users are also using it for the more deep use cases, and we haven't seen a lot of deep use cases that using all the data of the account. Admin control, user insight. And again, the admin can revoke postal AI agent. They can uninstall him. They can uninstall it. Sorry. And our metric that we're using is the AI interventions or the admin trigger overrides. We want to see that if in account we're seeing like an increase in those interactions, in those like admin is stopping too much, then we're going and interview them. In one case, we had like an admin say, "I don't want it anymore. I felt like it's created too much of uncertainty for me." Okay, I can accept that. And in other cases, it felt like user used it like too much, user used it and it cost too much. So it's like really allowed us to get better interactions with those admins and like better understand what they tried to achieve with us. Clear distinctions, I think it was, we have this comments or update that are tagged generated by Monday AI on behalf of someone. Again, prevents confusion. Malicious impersonation, we had this, we tried to play with it a few times, like to write updates on behalf of each other. It didn't work. And again, we created some internal compliance score for this AI level content. And we also run it with other, like with external evals or external auditing trails to make sure that we're using and the responses make sense. I think that one is clear as well. The example that we had is the task reassignment. We've added a Y note. Like when we had like an automatic ticket routing within our R&D that we've added, and then the automatic rerouting is said we added the Y, because not everything is not like, oh, something is within the board. Everyone interacts with the Monday board, so we need to see what's behind the scene. So actually, we used an agent that was able to also create like a mini troubleshooting or mini triage, see what the root cause, and then point it to the right team. The metric for us was the percentage of AI action with traceable reasoning. Content integrity, the example like is an auto-generated report that they can revert to pre-AI state. We had an auto-generated report around like progress around the project. We found out that in some cases they feel that it didn't give the right answer or like the full picture. They reverted it, and we saw it like, again, as a metric, the recovery rate or the reverse rate. And the last one, and I think like the reason that I've added here the bullseye, because this is, as I said before, this is what makes it either sell or not. Because now when it's like, also people need to pay for this AI. Pay for the AI usage, pay for like the agents, pay for everything. Now, like when it's added to their budget, it's definitely what they're looking to see is the clear ROI.
Question, please.
Yes, sure.
So, is the goal for Monday going to be achieving autonomous AI agents, or you would always have human in the loop for that?
I think we'll have both all the way. Like definitely in some areas we're gonna have autonomous agents, and in some areas we'll definitely keep the human in the loop. Because again, like it depends on the criticality, at least for the foreseeable future. Foreseeable now with the AI world, like it's not so far. But what we're hearing now is like, yes, we'll mix between the two options. So first, yes, feel this sense of control again, like this, to align the AI governance with business outcomes. For example, like we're tracking AI, the time saving versus the cost, how much it cost, how much time it saved with automation, with the workflows that we're adding. This ROI ratio that we've added into the admin panel and helped them to see like what is the value that they're getting. So I wanted to show some practical example of what we've done or how do we applied it. So I'll start with this video and then I'll show how the principles were there. Try and click the play button. It works.
So let's start by asking the agent to create a new item. We'll allow it to use the microphone, create another item, and call it item number 1.
I've created another item named item number 1 in the group title group. If you need any further assistance, feel free to ask.
Assign the item to me and change the status to working on it.
The status of item number 1 has been successfully updated to working on it. However, I encountered an issue while trying to assign the item to you. If you need further assistance or would like to try a different approach, please let me know.
So as we can see, the agent had some issues assigning the item to me, but he was able to change the status. Let's try one more time. Assign item number 1 to me.
The item number 1 has been successfully assigned to you, Tom Zohar. If you need any further assistance, feel free to ask.
Delete all the items on this board.
Deleting all items is a significant action. Please confirm that you want to proceed with deleting all items on this board.
I confirm.
All items on the board have been successfully deleted. If you need any further assistance, feel free to ask.
Cool. So what you see here, like it's a first version that we've added. The idea here, and I think this is where we saw AI really beneficial for a lot of non-trivial use cases. This is our new accessibility module. It's an agent-based one. You see here, like this is also like the textual version of it. But the idea is like, how can you interact with the bot? Not even like for a user with specific needs, but also like as a user. Maybe it's easier to get the items that I need. Like just interact with the bot like in a conversation way. So what we've seen here is, first of all, in the use cases, the ROI around accessibility. Here it's harder to see, but it's definitely something that we get as a compliance request from a lot of like the enterprise clients. The sense of control here came into effect in multiple places. First of all, when the operation was a bit more delicate, we've added some guardrails. We've added a request. Are you sure that you want to delete all those items? Yes, I confirm. We log this as well. Everything is in the activity log, which I haven't shown here. But even when we've added this item, if you look at the activity log, you'll see when you're adding an item added by AI on behalf of Tom Zohar, and then again, like everything in the activity log will show it. So we saw some of the practices, some of the guardrails, some of the principles that we've added into this like very simple use cases that we've added into our expert. And we also, in order to help the admins, specifically or mainly around budgeting, we've added like those 3 layered accountability, layered transparency framework, account level. Admins can set guardrails. I allow this in these use cases, this not. And in those cases, I want to have someone else to enable and govern them. Then we have it on a department level. Each department can, again, enable, disable, change the budget, or like assign specific budget per use cases, and assign budget per user. The user is accountable, again, for his own use, for his own AI use cases, everything that they're doing within the budget, and then it populates up, and people can see what others are doing, and then we can create reports, some reflection around the ROI, and all the use within the account. Around the AI governance, again, like it's pretty much looking at the same thing from different angles. So we came like, as the builders, what do we want to develop in order to allow all of this? So we created like the centralized AI expense oversight as like a view for the admins. We are creating the granular AI controls, again, a lot around the permissions. And this was the funny thing, because we had a lot of those API capabilities before. But what we found out is that if before API we had 2, 3 API tokens per account, maybe 10, now every user, by using AI behind the scenes, have their own AI token, API token. So the use is being changed. So the need for API token management was changed. So the needs around it, around API governance, will change. And we've had to add a lot of capabilities around this area before even starting to talk about AI. The ROI was made visible. That was part of the areas that we worked a lot. And the AI changes, again, the transparency around them. I'll finish with those 2 slides, is like just to show quickly that in all of, like specifically in agent in actions, like we've added, and we really had this review, and we've added this process of review to each new use case. So for example, in agent, when a new agent comes, like, and we want to add a new kind of agent to our system, we'll make sure, okay, it's least privilege by default, okay. It's the admin guided session, great. Are we showing it in the logging? So really, we've added those pillars, and we've added it into our review processes. And we've added it into like design and all along like the SDLC process, how do we make sure that we incorporate those guidelines? Same here for actions. It's like the specific content set is like making sure that we're not allowing it to go between other like content types or like content frames. The integrity state, that making sure that we can reverse it all. I think that's all from my end. So first of all, thanks for listening. Thank you. And if you have any questions, yes.
So I was hoping you could shed more light on the ROI part of it, because from my experience in data, ROI sometimes can be very false and abstract. Most people approach ROI from the point of view of costs. So I was just curious about how you do that from an AI agent point of view.
Yeah. So I think it, first of all, we can't find a one-fits-all for AI. And I think this is something that we've understood very early in the process. Like there is no AI ROI. There is a specific use case ROI, the same that we're not having like for all of our tools, the same ROI metric. So what we're trying to do is found a common ground for example, time save, which is mostly our efficiency, and show how many actions or time is being saved with AI. And we felt this is like the high-level metric. And then in each use cases, we're showing you what you've got. So there are things that weren't really possible before. For example, if you have 5,000 projects in the organization, you couldn't have someone that is sitting and every day checking the risk on all of them. Now you can do it, and you can do it easily. So new capabilities or new insights. And again, like time saving, we couldn't call this one time saving because it wasn't like able before, but now like we have it. Around accessibility, we felt like, again, the value here is the compliance. It's more of an internal value because we are more compliant, and I feel like now accessible users with needs have way easier way to interact and way more efficient way to interact with our systems. So this is our new capabilities, but I guess that in most cases it will be like saving time or saving operations.
So one last question. So is that more for Monday or for the external consumer, the AI ROI and justification?
I think that's a great question. So I think for now, what we're seeing is that, first of all, we're getting asked around like, how efficient is the AI usage in my org? Now when we're seeing more and more adoption, we do feel like it also going to change how they interact with the system or how they interact like between the systems. So I think like it's more, I'll take it from the development perspective. First it was, we enabled a lot of tools and saw how those tools are cool in our R&D, AI tools, for example, Cursor or other tools. But now we try to see how much more efficient are we getting with those tools, and this is how we evaluate. Because otherwise we'll internally replace those tools. But hopefully, like with our clients, we want to show that those tools are so integrated into your day-to-day and into your use cases here, we want to replace them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. I was wondering if you could reveal a bit something behind the models you're using, or is it top secret?
No, we started using mainly Anthropic, OpenAI, Anthropic and OpenAI. I think those are the main two. But definitely going for what we're hearing from enterprises to bring your own model. Like enterprises would like to bring their own model and use your own, I would say, like layer above their model. We have seen it with like very large enterprises, mainly I would say around the Microsoft suite, that wants to have this Copilot, want to stay within the Copilot environment and have those guardrails, which again, from development perspective, it added like some complexity. How can we make the guardrails model agnostic?
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Hi. Could you explain more about the metric for activity logging and like visible reversibility? Like how are you measuring that?
Yeah, I'll go back. Oh. Can I go? This one. The percentage of AI with traceable reasoning. Yeah. So what we're adding, like, so if each of our AI actions, and this is mainly for the AI actions, but also applicable for the agents, every actions that we're doing on behalf of the user, we've added like a flag. If we've added a reasoning, like if we added it into the product, the reasoning. And of course, like we've added to the activity log each action, I think that's trivial, but other than that, if we have also added a reasoning that they can go and like trace why we've done it.
So do you have like someone explicitly telling that this is like a valid reasoning for this action, or is it like you just generated a trail of logs?
When we train the model and we're monitoring them, we do have sample of evals, like we're sending those like, we're sending again like to internal training, but it's not on client's data, it's only on our data. And we're like, this metric is mostly a flag of like, have we added, were we able to get a reasoning, first of all, from our models? Second, if it's within the product, if we pushed it back and the user isn't visible for the user.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.